It's been about 6 months. It's crazy. And today I'm going to talk to you about shooting with the Sony A7 IV with my very special lens, the Sony GM 50mm f1.2. Let me bring it up right now. So it's this guy right here, 50mm f1.2. As you know, it's my second favorite focal length, first favorite being the 40mm. But because there aren't many nice 40mm lenses, this 50mm is like the next best choice. Currently, I have here the Sony A7 IV with the Sony Zeiss 50mm f1.4. Also a very nice lens, but we're here to talk about the GM version. Beautiful. So I know in the last few months that the 50mm f1.4 GM came out, but I would still encourage everyone to purchase the 50mm f1.2 GM. As a side note, when I was shooting video on this lens, I think I just shot it using the natural picture profile or the standard picture profile. I didn't really use the Vlog or Cinetone. That was probably my bad. I forgot to change the profile. But it gives you an idea of what the scene was like. And I had my friend, I was shooting at the Gold Coast, and I'm going to be showing you pictures and videos that I was shooting with this lens, doing the 3 favorite ways I love to shoot when I shoot weddings, portraits, and for businesses. Option 1 is natural lighting. When you're shooting in natural lighting, you're either shooting with the sun behind you, in front of you, or on the side. Number 2 is using a haze filter. So I covered this in the past, but this is what a haze filter is. So basically what it does is it makes your footage less sharp or more like bloomy, more hazy, gives it that like cinematic effect. And why I like to use this sometimes is when you're shooting a photo with a really sharp lens, like the 50mm f1.2, sometimes it's too sharp. And what this does is that it really helps softens the image, softens the face, diffuses the light a bit more and gives it that more bokeh, creamy type of feeling. And I quite like using haze filters during the day, just not during the night, just depending on the strength. And the third way of shooting with this lens that I did is using flash photography. So I had the Godox AD300 with like a reflector, medium-sized reflector, and that really helps when either the sun is too strong or in this case, when it's like sunset hour, it's really dark in the background and you really need some lighting to like make it pop, In summary, it's great to give you guys my quick pros and cons about this lens. Let's start off with the cons because there really isn't that many. The first con I would say is it's maybe slightly too heavy if you compare it to the 50mm f1.4 GM. But it is very light compared to other lenses like the Zeiss Milvus lenses, the Sigma 40mm f1.4, some of the Canon RF lenses, they're all really heavy. So Sony GM lenses tend to be on the lighter, heavyweight side, if that makes sense. The other con would be the price. It's quite expensive, but then again, if you compare it to the Canon RF 50mm f1.2, this is a bargain, I would say. The other con I would say is there's so many other cheaper 50mm options, because this is around 2,000 to 3,000 AUD, right? Whereas the other options are all well below $1,500, $1,000 options, and you can get nice 50mm 1.4 prime. And you're like weighing up, is it worth it to go for that 1.2? In my opinion, yes. that's pretty much it for the cons. Now for the pros, why I like this lens. So again, just like my first con, it's on the lighter side compared to the heavier lenses on the market. Like, it has a bit of weight, but it's not too heavy. Pro number 2, you really can't, put a feeling or like describe that bokeh at 1.2, and it just looks so gorgeous. Even though some of my favorite lenses are at f1.4, making it soft at 1.2 and it's still sharp is so beautiful. It just transforms the image, in my opinion. The next pro that I like about this lens is probably that it's a 50mm. It's the closest to the human eye of what we can see, and what that means is when we're shooting, we can still communicate. Whereas if you're shooting with a more zoomed in lens like an 85, 135, you have to shout if you want to give instructions or if you want to say anything, where it's much more easier to verbalize and communicate with a 50mm because you're a lot closer to whatever you're shooting. That's if you're shooting like human beings, right? If you're talking, not like landscapes. The other pro I like about this lens is that the filter size is a 72mm, which is a very a smaller blueprint where you can get cheaper, ND filters or cheaper haze filters, cheaper UV filters to place on the lens itself. The last pro I can see is that you shoot with an ecosystem that's not just about the lenses, but it's also about the body, right? And when you combine a nice body with a nice lens, that's when you get the nice combination. And pairing this up with the Sony A7 IV, with the blazing fast autofocus and pretty clean video like what I'm shooting right now, it's just great. I really like this combination. It feels good to hold. It's very fast to shoot. It's perfect. Anyway, that's it for today. I highly recommend this lens for you to check out. It may or may not be for you, but it's definitely for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.